Hi guys, welcome to this Barb Stamps video. Today's video we're going to be doing this grid pattern card, and I created the grid using the smallest square from our Stitched Shapes framelits. This little guy right here creates the pattern. I've also used the Birthday Wit stamp set from the Occasions catalog. Love the big bold greetings in this set. And here we go with the center of the card. I always appreciate your business. If you would like to give it to me at shoppingwithbarb.com, I do provide free gifts with purchase, so check that out on my blog at barbstamps.com. All right, let's get these things out of the way and we'll get started making the card. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take those Stitched Shapes framelits and we're going to cut ourselves 12 squares, and they can be any color combination you want. I went with the Tempting Turquoise, Melon Mambo, and So Saffron. And you're going to run them through the Big Shot, and I recommend when you place your die on your precision base plate to put it at the diagonal. So as it's rolling through the machine, the first point of contact with the roller is the very small part of the die, and then as you roll it through, it gradually gets larger, making it easier on the machine and the dies to go through. I find if you put them through flat side first, they bump up to the roller, and sometimes there's a hitch there and you just crank it and it almost sounds like it's extremely painful for the Big Shot to do that. So I just find if you roll them through on the diagonal, you'll have a lot better luck. So we've got our 12 squares here. I've got a piece of whispered white that measures, oh, I don't know, like 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm just going to put some liquid glue on this piece, and I'm going to just start layering my squares on. And I just want them to be bumped up next to each other. So we'll start with the So Saffron. Whoops. Some of these little guys get fuzzy edges on them when they come out of the machine. So go ahead and rub those off. I use this sanding block. Stampin' Up! Used to sell these. We don't anymore. But I believe that nail technicians actually use them or possibly sell them now. Obviously, I don't go to a nail technician, but I think that's where you can get them, and I should have done this before we started the video here, so maybe I'll just stop the video real quick and do them all. Okay. Again, just make sure that they're all lining up, like so. Saffron. And I like to use liquid glue so that I have a little bit of wiggle room. Like if something doesn't line up quite right, I have a little bit of a chance to wiggle it into place before it actually is set. All right, add a little bit more glue for our next row here. And get that one. And I'm just making a grid. I just think this looks pretty cool. And then our last layer, we'll add a little bit of glue for that. Go ahead and put our last pieces on. And then we're going to have a really awesome looking grid here. Okay, so once you get all those in place, go ahead and press and make sure that they're all stuck on there really nicely. And then we're going to cut this whole panel. So this is going to make it so much easier than trying to have an exact size of piece of paper, trying to line all those up. You'll thank me. So you're going to want to cut this white layer off. And here I'm kind of going just barely under the edge of these guys so that the white doesn't actually show when I'm done. Okay. Okay, get rid of all those scraps. All right, so we've got this done. Now we need to measure it so we know how big our layer needs to be. So bring our ruler in. And this looks to be 3 5/8. And this looks to be 4 3/4. So 3 5/8 by 4 3/4. And I like to add a 1/4 inch to each measurement. So this is going to be 3 7/8 by 5. So now I'll get a piece of white that is 3 7/8 by 5. All right, so here's our 3 7/8 by 5 layer of Whisper White. And then when we lay this on here, it just fits on there perfectly. Yay! So I'm just going to glue this to my layer of white. And no one's going to see that white layer behind this. Okay. Press that from the back. And then we're going to need a layer of basic black, adding another 1/4 inch. This is going to be 4 1/8 by 5 1/4. Okay. Add some glue to this layer. Get that nice and centered. Okay. And then we can go ahead and add that to our main card base, which is Tempting Turquoise and is 8.5 by 5.5. Okay. All right, and then we're going to set this aside and work on our main focal point here. Okay, so I've got a piece of Whisper White here that measures 2 by 3 3/4. Yep, 2 by 3 3/4. And I'm going to ink up the large greeting from the stamp set. So I'm going to use my archival black because it's a nice, rich, dark black. And that's what I want. Come down over this and try to get it centered. How about like that? That looks pretty good. Okay, so then you would also stamp this same piece on Tempting Turquoise, So Saffron, and the Melon Mambo, and then just cut out the individual words. So here are my individual words cut out of each color. So you can actually make 3 of these cards if you do stamp all these pieces on those colors. And so now what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of glue to each one of these words and cover them with the coordinating colored word. Okay, so let those dry, and I'm going to bring in some of our mini sequin trim. This is our black, and I have a little piece already cut here, and so I'm just going to kind of fold that up and just add it to the top corner here, and I'm just going to use a stapler to do that, and then just do that. Okay, then we can trim that off as we need to. Some scissors in, snip that excess off. And then that's going to go on our card like that. And I'm going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals for this piece. Go ahead and put a few on the back. Whoops. Boy, those all stuck together. And so I have a lot of Stampin' Dimensionals. I think 5 is plenty. What do you guys think? Press your fingernail into the back of each of those so that their backings will release easily. And then we'll just kind of go like so, pressing that down. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in some of our, what are these, enamel shapes. This is the package of subtles. This is how they come. I'm actually going to use the brights, and I've already picked my pieces out. I wanted to use the little stars. And so I have a So Saffron from the Subtles collection, a Melon Mambo, and a Tempting Turquoise. I'm just going to pick those off their backing sheets, and I'm going to stick one right up here. And then I'm going to stick my yellow one like that, and my Melon Mambo one down here. So that's the front of our card. And now for the inside, I've got another piece of Whisper White. Here's that piece, and I've got a couple more stamps from the set. I've got the Happy Birthday and the You're Welcome, and then this cute little kind of like confetti shape, I guess we can call it. So we'll start with the confetti shape. We're just going to ink that up, and stamp 2 of these at the bottom and 1 at the top. Easy. I'm going to take my happy birthday greeting and we'll ink that up. And how about right there? And then the "You're welcome" to kind of finish our phrase from the front. Our phrases from the front. We'll go above that. And then I thought it would be cute to bring these same colors in and color in the happy birthday. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll speed up the camera. Well, actually, I'm going to let that stuff dry for a second. So we will add our enamel shapes. Here, the colored ones. Got the Melon Mambo. Whoops, that tempting turquoise almost flew across my stamp table here. And then the So Saffron. There we go. Get that off. And position that into place. All right, so now let me color this happy birthday. Okay, so that part's done. We're going to go ahead and add that to the center of the card. Add a little bit of glue. Here's my little trick I like to talk about, how I only line it up on 3 sides, because if it's not lined up in the center or the middle fold, it isn't going to make that much difference when somebody opens your card. As long as it's on these 3 sides, it's going to look like it's lined up just right. So there we have it. All right, there's your card. Please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I always appreciate that. Subscribe to my channel down here in the corner if you want to be notified when I upload new videos. And as always, I would so appreciate your business at shoppingwithbarb.com. I do offer free gifts with purchase every month, along with a free tutorial. So please check that out at barbstamps.com. And as I always tell you, I hope you have a wonderful day.